Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. So today I thought I would do a video helping you out for you guys that are buying your first ever beginner violin. So someone sent me a message a little while ago saying that they were choosing a violin and they had seen a lot of my videos with what violin to choose, what accessories to buy, what strings, what rosin and all that kind of thing, and they just had a lot of information swimming around their head. So they asked me if I could do a video just, I suppose, kind of basically telling you exactly what my favourite buys were in terms of all of those things, violin, strings, rosin and that kind of thing, just to kind of put you out of your misery, I guess, and just kind of do the thinking for you and choose the product that I think, you know, just might be the best one for you. So starting off then, if you're a complete beginner and you're buying a violin, then I would suggest that there are three violins that you can kind of buy, and those are the Mendini MV500, then you've got the Cecilio CDN 300, or you've got the Stentor 2. Kind of price point wise, they're all fairly kind of the same. You can get cheaper violins than those ones, but you're going to get what you pay for, and they're not really going to be conducive to learning. They're going to hinder your learning quite a lot, which is something you don't really want. If you're going to be spending a lot of time and effort in investing into learning a new instrument, you want at least something kind of semi-decent as a beginner violin. So those three are kind of your beginner violins, but which one do you choose? I guess if I had a gun to my head, I would probably choose the MV500. All of these will be linked directly underneath this video, by the way. So I would probably choose the MV500, and the reason being is that I think when I did my review a few years ago, I'll leave the video review linked underneath as well, I thought it was a really smart looking violin. So I think looks of violins don't necessarily come into it. So for example, if I'm looking for a violin, I don't really care what it looks like or particularly where it came from. I'm more concerned with the tone and the sound and how it feels and how it plays for what I want to do and that kind of thing. And that's what I'm paying the money for, and that's what I'm looking for. But as a beginner violin, in terms of the wood the violins are made out of, it doesn't really matter because the price point is so low that it's not going to have that much of effect, if any effect on it at all. So I think as beginners, the looks of violins are actually quite important. So I think the MV500 is really good for that one because it looks a lot more expensive than it is. The accessories on the MV500 are very nice as well. So you've got gold-plated fine tuners, you've got inlaid perfing on the violin as well. The tailpiece and the pegs are wood, I do believe. They are not alloy. When you've got alloy tailpieces, they're just not very nice. They're very clunky and they're very bulky, and it kind of, you know, it does affect the sound a little bit. So for all those reasons, I think the MV500 should be the one to go for. Which brings me on to my second point, which is strings. I would only really buy a beginner violin if you will change the strings on it. You don't have to, but changing the strings on a beginner violin will make the violin sound a lot nicer, and it will be a lot less laborious to play on as well. Some of the factory strings are just very, very hard going with the bow. It's such an effort to pull the bow across the strings, even when you've got rosin on them. So I would recommend changing the strings, especially with the MV500. So two options with strings that you've probably seen me talk about in videos everywhere are dominant strings. Those strings are used by professionals. They're very good quality and very decent strings. The other set of strings I always recommend are the Parastro tonicas. If I had to choose one or the other, I would choose the Parastro tonicas. I'll link those directly underneath as well, along with a complete list of, you know, what I kind of think that you should buy. So the dominants are a good quality string. They last a very long time, but in my opinion, they're just a flat kind of vanilla tone. So they're not really bright, they're not rich, they're not dark, they're not velvety. They don't have a tone. They're just good quality and decent strings, and that's pretty much where it ends. With the Parastro tonicas, they are very, very nice strings. They're very, very smooth to play on, but they're brighter. They're not bright in a kind of shouty kind of way. They're just bright in just a nice kind of soft bright. They will lift up the violin, especially if A lot of student quality violins have a very nasal sound to them, which you can't really get away from because that is just the nature of the cheaper violins. So by putting in some Presto tonicas, you can take that away a little bit, and you can brighten up the sound so it's maybe not quite so shrill, or just definitely not so scratchy. So I would recommend that you go with the Presto tonicas. They're also a little bit cheaper than the Dominants as well, and depending on what country you're buying them from, they can be a lot cheaper. They're quite a bit cheaper than in the UK. The Dominants are something around about, I think Dominants are around about £40. I'm not quite sure what they are in dollars, but I'll link them underneath. And Prestos are near enough half that, maybe just under half that. So there's a huge amount of difference in price there, but personally I think the Prestos are a lot better. Okay, the next thing that I think you should get is some rosin. So when you get the rosin in your case, toss that rosin into the bin and go and get yourself some better quality rosin. Now the rosin I recommend is Presto Gold Flex rosin. I'll have that linked underneath. I have personally used that before, and I think it's a great little rosin. You don't have to use, I've just recommended Presto strings, so you don't have to use the Presto rosin that goes with it. You can obviously mix and match brands of rosins. That's absolutely fine. But the Presto Gold Flex is a nice, good quality rosin, so it doesn't have a lot of dust, it doesn't have a lot of fallout, assuming that you're not over rosining as well, and it's not very sticky. You don't end up with a lot of rubbish just stuck underneath the bridge or under the strings near the fingerboard of the violin as well. So yes, I do definitely recommend that you get a good quality rosin. It will make such a difference in your sound and your playing, especially if you've actually invested into a decent set of strings. I really don't see the point in using the crappy rosin that you've got in your case, which is just going to be hideous, not to mention the fact that if you've got a new violin, therefore you've got a new bow with no rosin on it, it is going to take you forever to put any rosin on that bow. So ditch that, get all these things alongside you buying a violin, get yourself a set of strings and get yourself some rosin as well at the same time, and then you can start rosining the bow. If you've already put rosin on the bow and you've just watched this video and you want to get yourself some new rosin, maybe some Gold Flex or whatever it is, that's absolutely fine. You can just go straight over with the new rosin over the old rosin on your bow. You don't have to clean the bow or do anything fancy with it, as long as you haven't just put rosin on the bow. If you've put the old rosin just on the bow, then I would say just, wait a little bit longer and just play it off before you put any more rosin, otherwise you will then overload the rosin. But generally speaking, you can just go straight over with the old rosin, that's absolutely fine. Okay, the other thing that I think you can get, but which isn't 100% necessity, it's more of a personal preference, and that is to get a CHINREST. Now, this is the CHINREST that I have. I'll have a picture of it coming up on the screen. I'll have it linked underneath as well. Now, this is called the Mulko CHINREST. You'll see it on every single violin that I have. I buy these by the dozen. Students just die for them. Everybody wants to know what CHINREST it is that I've got. I generally find that with the cheaper student quality violins, the CHINRESTs you get are incredibly bulky. I must have like a small neck or a delicate little chin or something. But for me, when I play on those violins, there's such a lump kind of right at the edge of this and the edge of the CHINREST, and it goes right up into my chin, and I find it actually very uncomfortable. This Mulko CHINREST, you'll see from the pictures, it's very, very thin. It's probably not even a centimetre thick. It's very small, so it doesn't kind of sit over the violin. It's not obtrusive, it's not massive. It's very comfortable. It's kind of cross-hatched or etched on there. It's just, I don't know, I like it just for added comfort, but it's just so small and delicate and discreet, and I love this CHINREST. And it's really not very expensive at all. So, if those other CHINRESTs are not bothering you, it won't really necessarily change the sound, that's fine. But I know some of you say that you have a little bit of a problem with, putting the violin under your neck and finding it very comfortable. So you might find that just takes the bulge out of that bit underneath your neck. The other thing that you can get as well, again, more personal preference, so not particularly a necessity, is a shoulder rest. So as you guys know and you've seen all my videos, I don't use a shoulder rest, and I haven't done for 25 years now. So, that's fine, that just suits me fine. Some of you do, some of you don't. It is complete personal preference. That's completely all it is. I don't have any problems doing vibrato or anything like that. If you're finding that you've got a bit of a gap between kind of your shoulder and the base of the violin, then you might just want to get yourself a shoulder rest. That's absolutely fine. The Wolf shoulder rest is the one that I recommend coming up here, or I'll put a link, and I'll put a link underneath as well. And the last thing that I think you should get is a violin tuner. So one of these, if you can see that, this is the D'Addario NS Micro Tuner. Now this is a little bit more expensive than the other tuners that you can get. The reason why I like it is because it is purpose built for the violin. So unlike the other chromatic tuners that you get, maybe the guitar tuners, they sit on the peg of the violin, they pick up the vibrations coming all the way through from the area of the violin when you're playing all the way up and into the pegs. And I just find them not accurate enough. I find that, if I use them to tune up, it's rubbish and having to just use my ear anywhere to get a much finer tune. Now, I like this because it sits on the violin. I've done a review of this, so I'll link this underneath as well. But it sits on the body of the violin like this. Because it's sitting on the body of the violin, it's picking up a lot more of the vibrations, and therefore it is a lot more accurate and it's a lot easier to see. So it just sits on the violin there if you like. I like it there because I can just see it there. Whatever, wherever you want to put it. You might just want to put it the other side, you might want to put it there. Whatever floats your boat with it, but I just find these a lot more accurate than any of the other tuners. And yes, the other tuners are a lot cheaper. Even if you've already got like a chromatic tuner, I would seriously say, would seriously recommend that you invest in one of these. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what's the first thing that you do when you go to play the violin? You tune it. I have to tune my violin up every single time I play it. It's just the nature of the violin. So, why bother getting into your practice when your violin's not even in tune and you can't even tune it properly? So this is the one that I think is most accurate. So there we go. I hope you found this most helpful. What I think I will do to summarize is to put everything in the description underneath, everything that I think you should just go ahead and buy, and all the links, just to make life easier for you and me as well. So go head down there, because that's where all the goodness is going to be. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.